So you've probably been scaring off the girls that you're actually interested in. Maybe you watch some of those cringy pickup artist videos and they're telling you, oh, you just have to stare at her from a distance for 30 minutes before you can actually go up to her. And then when you go up to her, you have to do all this weird shit. And you're just sitting there like across from the bar, just chewing on your gum like a moron, looking like an absolute weirdo and a creep. And now not only are you still alone sitting in your crusty bed sheets wondering why your crush isn't texting you back, but you've also probably built a bad reputation for yourself. And I used to be the same way. I was a little bit of a creep and a weirdo, wondering what the hell am I doing here? I created a bad reputation for myself, and it just kind of carried on and just made it a lot harder for me to get girls and a lot harder for me to even have conversations with them until I started implementing some of these steps. My name is Blake, and if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so we can continue getting better together. Also follow me on Instagram, linked in the description below. So getting women and dating is gonna be a lot different for Chads. And I know because I've been on both sides of the coin. Like I said, I used to not be able to get any women, and now I'm on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, seeing what life is really like. Because I used to hear the stories and I did not believe it until I kind of experienced it for myself. And it might be hard for you to believe it as well, but trust me, like it exists. Like life is different for the Chads. First and foremost, they get approached. Women don't really approach, and you might already believe that and already know that, but you might not believe that they actually do approach sometimes. And when they do actually decide to approach, it is for these Chads. They're not approaching just like the average Joe off the street. They're approaching these Chads and taking the risk on a higher value man. So even though these Chads still have to like approach women and stuff themselves, they actually get approached more often than your average Joe, obviously. But like when this first started happening to me, some of the friends I had at the time, they didn't even believe that like we were talking about it, and it was kind of mind-blowing to hear that like they never even gotten approached before, and here I am a couple times getting approached like just out of the blue. And not only that, but the relationships you have and the girls you have, like they treat you differently when you implement some of these steps. Like they actually treat you a lot better, a lot more, creates that nice feminine masculine dynamic a lot better and stuff like that. When you implement these steps, it creates for a lot healthier of a relationship and a lot healthier of a dynamic, like I was saying. And just the girls you will meet are genuinely just going to be better, more high quality, more wife quality women. Like check this out. You know, the girl wants to see this movie like once, and just off that she made me this painting. And it's like, if you haven't seen this movie, it's like a horror movie. It's pretty gory and stuff, but we went and saw this movie, we liked it, and didn't talk much about it since. But then she made me that painting for me, like just out of blue, and it was a really nice gift. I really like it, and she does stuff like that for me sometimes, and it's like, it's really cool. It's like you can get treated like that, just like with these random gifts, and just like always thinking about you and stuff. And it's just a lot better of a life than like going through more toxic relationship, cheating on each other, like just like bad stuff like that. It's a lot different when you turn yourself into this Chad. Like you'll just have a healthier, better relationship with women. And I promise you, you can make this transformation too. It is possible for anyone. We all have this potential to become like top 1% kind of men. You just have to put in the work. I've divided it up into 5 steps, 5 actionable steps that you can take in this video and go ahead and start implementing it, and then become more attractive, make her start desiring you and start chasing after you, and get that kind of like, you know, king treatment. Like, you know, girls get like princess treatment sometimes. This is going to get you that king treatment. So first things first, you're going to need to looks max. You need to optimize your look, because that's going to be the thing that gets your foot in the door. That's going to be what opens up to her being receptive, even having a conversation with you, is just because you at least need to look presentable, at least be a little bit above average in terms of like show some effort into your look. A little bonus tip for you is to match her aesthetic. Now obviously you don't want to just make this disingenuous like for yourself. Like if she's into Western shit and like a cowgirl and shit, and you're not into any of that, you don't even like you hate country music, right? You're not gonna go after that girl and like match her aesthetic and all of a sudden become this cowboy, you know what I mean? One thing that will really help with this is if you just picture in your mind your kind of dream girl, like what she looks like, what she likes, like the stuff she's into, how she would act, like her personality and stuff, and her look, especially her look. Then once you got that in your mind, start to imagine what kind of guy she would like to be with, what kind of guy would she want to be around, would she want to be in his arms, you know what I'm saying? And then become that guy. It's that simple. The first thing and foremost, like I said, is looks maxing, maximizing your look to your fullest potential. And part of looks maxing is going to be creating that aesthetic and stuff in terms of your wardrobe and stuff like that. So when you're creating your aesthetic, you can kind of picture what kind of girl you'd want. And if you don't want to scour the internet looking for all these different looks maxing videos and techniques and stuff like that, wasting your time on what does and does not work, then you can go ahead and check out my course on it, linked in the description below. It might be able to help you. You can just read about it if you want to. The next step is going to be fix your mental health. I've been talking about this a lot recently because I don't think it's talked about enough in the looks maxing community. I don't think people even realize that it's part of looks maxing. This is because your perception of yourself is how the world is going to view you. So if you are a very negative person, you're going to attract negative people, and you guys are just going to have a terrible life. And you're just going to actually repulse people. You might not even attract negative people because that's how just kind of bad your mental health is. You're going to repulse people away from you, especially your future wife. So you want to go ahead and fix that at ASAP. Like, do whatever you need to and just go ahead and fix your mental health, because that's going to be vital in order to attracting any girl past just the initial attraction from looks. But once you attract her and you have a little bit good mental health, you can start talking to her. And what you need to do this is going to be the basis for your whole relationship. Even when you're married, even if you've been married for like 30 years, you still need to keep this up. And that is to polarize her. So like I talked about in a recent video, you need to spike her emotions, and this is going to be part of polarization. You need to be doing this with the world and like all your relationships, because polarizing is basically taking it to the extreme, right? People are either going to love you or hate you. You need to take your personality and turn it up to fucking 11 out of 10. You need to make people like some people are genuinely going to hate you and they're going to hate every take you have, but like some people are going to respect your opinion and go like, wow, I really love this guy. He's just himself. Like, he's doing the most he can. There's a quote from, I believe it's Kurt Cobain, and he said, I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. And that's a perfect way to sum this up. But like I said, we're turning it up to 10. Like, if you see someone like Andrew Tate, obviously he's not a misogynist and stuff like that, but in some of his videos, he'll just have these wild takes, and it's really just his personality, like what he might actually believe, just turned up to 10 and saying like these wild things, because he's polarizing you. He's bringing some people in that just gonna like see that and like, wow, like I respect him for doing that. And then some people like are just gonna ostracize him and be like, oh, he's a misogynist, blah, blah, we need to cancel him, because he's just giving his opinion, but he's turning it up, like he's taking it up to that next level. That's what you need to do whenever you're talking to a girl. Another way that you can do this is getting her to open up to you. It talks about this a little bit in the Art of Seduction, but a way, like, the most anti-seductive qualities in a person is when you only care about yourself and you're not like vulnerable enough to be involved into a relationship. So when you're trying to get with a girl, you need to get her to open up to you. And a way to do this is to be a little bit vulnerable yourself. And this does not mean like give her your whole life story, your whole rundown, or like just be an emotional man, because you still need to be that masculine kind of alpha dude. You need to be able to drop little tidbits in there in order to get her more comfortable opening up with you, and just doing things in general to get her to just open up and share these things with you and be more vulnerable with you. Because once she does that, that's going to make her think about you a lot more. She's going to be more comfortable sharing more of her personal life with you that she doesn't share with anybody else, and that is going to create a lot deeper of a bond with you and get her to like start thinking about you, start fantasizing about you a lot more than you otherwise would. And speaking of fantasizing, our fifth and final step is going to be to stay mysterious. See, guys like you and me have been watching, like I said, these pickup artist videos that tell you like all this cringy stuff to do, and like once we actually start talking to a girl, we get way too excited and we start telling her everything that's going on in our day and everything that we're feeling at the moment and blah blah blah. And we just like it's a very repulsive quality. Women need the time to fantasize about what you're doing. You can't just be telling her your daily schedule all the time and just let her know like you're doing the same thing every day on a routine because some self-improvement YouTuber told you like, oh, this is the optimal routine, blah blah blah. You need to be able to give her like that space to fantasize. Like, you're like a puzzle to her and she wants to figure you out. Don't give her every piece all the time. Just, like I said, drop little tidbits every now and then. Every once in a while, you need to give her something that she doesn't know about you, like she wouldn't expect from you and stuff like that. So it's going to keep her on her toes. So maybe she's wondering like, oh, maybe I don't know everything there is to know about him. Maybe I like don't have him figured out, because that is the one thing that she wants to do, is to figure you out. And if you make that too easy for her, there's just going to be no attraction there. She needs to be able to fantasize. Like, everybody wants what they can't have. It's kind of like, she needs to be able to chase you and to fantasize about you. There it is. Those are going to be 5 tips that are going to make her start chasing after you. Let me know if any of these tips helped, or if you know of something that I may have overlooked. And remember, be better than you were yesterday.